Hey, my name is Zachary, and I'm interested in finding new ways to appreciate art. Today, I want to share with you a framework that allows for falsifying beauty. Now, we all know that art has subjective components, but art also contains objective knowledge. And by focusing on that objective knowledge, we can criticize art in the ways that we know how to criticize knowledge. So, certain aspects of art are abstract and can reliably cause transformations in the world. That's approximately the constructor theory conception of knowledge. And this knowledge that is embodied in works of art will function as a solution to an artistic problem. So, a major key here is to stop evaluating the entire work of art and instead evaluate specific problem solutions within the work of art. We're going to evaluate those as beautiful or comparatively boring compared to another solution. A good solution is one that works reliably across many contexts, and a better solution works in more contexts. So, let's get concrete here. Consider what makes a movie opening good. Specifically, the question may be, how well does this opening grab the audience's attention and set the tone for the story? So, the common subjective answer is based on feelings alone. And this is really just to consider your own intensity of positive emotions that were triggered while you were watching this movie on one single occasion, right? However, with a constructor theory inspired view, we would want to evaluate the reliability of this specific transformation. This is reliability, meaning reliable over time, reliable with different people, reliable in different works of art, reliable in different universes in the multiverse. And when I say this transformation, the transformation could be to cause a positive emotion. It could be to convey information, could be just to preserve the artwork. It could be to replicate. But in this case, we're talking about directing attention. In this framework, the reliability is the measure of the value. So let's look at two rival solutions here. These are both going to be different embodiments of knowledge that are going to be addressing the same problem. This is how to open a movie to catch the audience's attention and set the tone. So, solution A is going to be what we see in the movie King Kong from 1933. In this movie, there's a bold title card sequence to start. It opens with a swelling orchestra and opening credits. So, title cards just means that there's text on screen and very minimal graphics. For the time, this was a very powerful solution, and it reliably told audiences to get ready for a spectacle. Now, solution B is what was seen 90 years later in 2023 in Godzilla Minus One. In this movie, it just starts immediately. There's no build up. It just starts you in the action. There's no title cards, there's no opening credits, there's no establishing shot. It just starts with the scene that contains plot immediately. And that's sufficient to prepare the audience for the movie. Now, pretty much every movie from the 20s to the 60s started with something like Solution A, having an inexpressive title card. And pretty much every movie from the 2020s now, starts without opening credits, starts without a title card, and usually just starts with a cold opening. It just starts. And so a quick question here is, was the shift from the commonality of the title card sequence to now having cold opens and starting the action immediately, was that just a change in fashion? Or was that just a subjective whim of the culture? If you believe that everything is subjective, you might think so. You might think that there's no progress, there's no improvement, that the subjective feeling of positive emotion in people during the openings can barely be measured. And anyway, it's all based on random cultural conditionings and everything is highly variable. But I disagree with this. The change was not an accident, it was not a cultural whim. We have discovered an objectively better solution for this specific problem. A cold opening is a more reliable way to capture attention and set the mood across a wider range of contexts. This means that for more audiences and more movies across more genres, even in different mediums, and I suspect over a longer period of time, and I also suspect in different universes across the multiverse, this cold opening is a more reliable solution for this specific transformation than title cards. Even most older movies that do have title cards and opening credits, they would be improved if those opening credits were removed and the movie just started. And this isn't because of any difference in technology. The movies that were in the 30s could have easily started without any title cards, and the movies today could start with title cards. But this is actually the change, the persistent change is because of a growth of knowledge. And I'm going to call this a growth of beauty. We can say that for this specific problem of grabbing attention and setting the mood, the cold opening has falsified the title card opening. The old solution is just comparatively less beautiful. It is comparatively more boring. The old solution is comparatively less reliable than the newer solution at this specific transformation. And anyone who believes that beauty is just subjective will miss or downplay this type of objective improvement. Also, the solution has reach. So it's not just Godzilla and King Kong movies. The same solution can work in other media. That's kind of that's a part of what it means to work in different contexts. They can work in YouTube videos, TikToks, TV shows, books, albums, museums even. These all could start immediately to capture attention. And we all know currently that burying the lead is a mistake. Have you ever seen a YouTube video that had 30 seconds of applause and some title cards before the content started? Or have you seen a comedy special where the comic is just walking around outside New York City for like 2 minutes before the first joke? Right? These are just mistakes. And these will be improved if they used the better solution of just starting immediately. Okay, now I will address a couple of objections to this idea. First objection is someone might say that I'm being overly reductive. The intro to King Kong was not only to catch someone's attention. And I accept this. I think that there's never only one function for any artistic solution. But I think the process of guessing one of the many functions, one or more of the many functions, uh, allows for us to test what the function is and compare it to other solutions. And with that, we can refine what we consider to be the solution, and we can refine what we consider to even be the problem. And this leads to the growth of beauty. So we may point out that a title card opening is effective at triggering nostalgia. And then if we care about nostalgia, then we can compare that to any alternative solutions, which will be better or worse at triggering nostalgia. But hiding behind vagueness and overly insisting that there are things that we don't know about a particular artistic solution is a surefire way to stop progress and to be blind to any progress that is made. Okay, so our next objection is that not all media should start in the same way. And that's true. And I understand why it kind of sounds like I'm saying that. But I think there will never be one solution that fits into every single context. Meaning there's not going to be one artistic solution that works for every single type of work of art or every actual work of art. But there's always going to be a solution that works for some amount of works of art and another solution that will work in more contexts. One of the main jobs of an artist would be to specifically make a work of art that seems to have the same family of problems as another, but it turns out to be a counterexample or refutation to our known solution to that family of problems. And this gives us clarity for the range that a solution applies. And it clarifies when there is actual progress. We may have to adjust our view of the problem and the solution to be something like the problem is starting a mystery movie specifically and catching attention and setting the mood. And the solution for this will be to start with a slow title card sequence with background sounds relating to the plot. So this adjustment, it focuses more on the mood and it adds aesthetic content to our theory and it adds surprising constraints on the rest of the art. And if this is good, if this new theory is actually good, it will have a wider range of applicability than the original. This is important because an artist can always create new contexts. And that means that there's no final perfect way to open a film, or more broadly, there's never a perfect aesthetic solution for any particular transformation. And that means that beauty can always grow forever, or our solutions can always become better. You may wonder, how can this framework change your appreciation of art? Well, I can just mention how it changed mine. Before really understanding this view, I have been prone to faulting works of art for being imperfect. But now I expect that every artistic solution within a work of art could be improved, which means that no artistic solution could be perfect and no work of art could be perfect. I see every work of art as a series of experiments for beauty, which reveals many artistic solutions in many various different contexts and shows where they fit well and where they do not fit well. And this is just like how new technology or new scientific experiments reveal the contexts where objective knowledge fits well and where it does not fit well. And each of these experiments is really an inspiration for further development. For me, all of this comes naturally with viewing beauty as objective problem solving knowledge. With this, we gain a new and powerful lens for appreciation. It gives us a framework to discuss artistic solutions and how to be wrong about our artistic solutions. And most importantly, it allows us to see artistic progress and see how beauty can grow forever. Okay, thank you. I'm open for questions.